MGTOW Australia, Paying with Your Blood, Part 4. I have put this presentation together to update other men of my experience in the family court and other issues that revolve around the family court. Some experiences in my own family law court matter that I've had are shocking, mind-blowing to say the least. I've had so far in the same firm that I'm in now, or that I'm using now, I have 3 different lawyers. The very first lawyer that I had left and went to a different firm, which, believe it or not, was the actual firm that I was with in the beginning, in the first place. Now, this specific firm, that very first one, made me wait 9 weeks before they told me that they couldn't take on my case because it was a conflict of interest. So they said to me, look, we know someone that works in a different firm. If you don't mind, we can, if you like, we can hook you up with this other firm and this guy can be your solicitor. And I said, look, that's okay. I need a solicitor ASAP. And mind you, at the time, I would have been filling out an application for a case, thereby causing me to become the applicant. This is very important information. Now, so I was transferred from that specific firm to the firm that I'm at now. And then I was made to waste another 2 weeks before I actually went in there to fill out an affidavit. Around the same, maybe the same day I filled out this application, when I left and went home during the evening, I had a guy knock on my front door and hand me over an application for a case, for a family law case. And this application was from the mother, which caused me now to become the respondent. About anywhere between 9 weeks to 11 weeks were wasted, where I would have been the applicant, because I checked out the dates when she had filled her application and compared them to when I was trying to have an application filled out for my case. I would have definitely been the applicant, but now I was caused to become the respondent. The last time I went to the family court firm, family law court, whatever, my family law court firm was about 2 to 3 weeks ago. Jumped in my car, drove down there, and my actual lawyer wasn't there. Who was there was the actual principal solicitor. It was the first time that I see a male working at this firm for a long time. And it was quite funny because this guy was in a pink dress, spiked up hair, late 30s, possibly early 40s, completely emasculated. But I knew that I could tell he was not gay. He was just emasculated. And it was weird because I brought to his attention how I was just about to see a psychiatrist, which the court had appointed in a couple of weeks, and I had some concerns because there are male support networks in Australia that have very bad opinions of this psychiatrist because of experiences that they've had, or men have had, with this guy. And this guy became so defensive, he became very passive angry, and he started to tell me, these guys are just crazy. These guys are loons, they got mental problems. And I found that quite pathetic, because I've spoken to these guys and they're perfectly normal. They have had bad experiences, obviously, with family experiences, family disputes, etc. And I mean, I wasn't surprised when this so-called principal solicitor started to talk in such a way, because you start to realize the kind of system that's enmeshed, that's grabbing everybody that flies into this web. And for this system to function the way it does, you need people of this nature, especially if they're going to have a penis between their legs. They need to function in a emasculated way to support this gynocentric system, this extremely misandric system. I don't think he would last long in there at all if he was supportive of men. Now, the other thing that I wanted to mention, because this is a very important point as well, the actual lawyer that I did have at this new firm, which is my firm now, actually left and went to the firm that I had initially had, the very first firm. Now, I was quite shocked, because this is the same firm that said to me that there's a conflict of interest. So here I am, I've got this lawyer at this place that was highly recommended for me, and this lawyer's done some work for me and now has left and gone to this other family court firm. It's bewildering, but anyway, that's what happened. I've also had some experiences, some weird ones, at the contact center, which is the place that I go to see my children, even though I only see my son. My son now is 3, my daughter's turned 5 not long ago, and in the initial stages there were some very, very strict rules that were told to us, explained to us by the supervisors that work there. I would like to highlight again that they are all female, and one of these very strict rules that was taught to us is there were specific zones where I'm allowed to park, and specific zones where the mother of the children, of my children, is allowed to park. This place, this contact center, is located on a corner, on a corner of a block. So I was allowed to park, I had to park on one part of this corner where I wouldn't be able to see the mother park on the other side of the corner, and vice versa. I come in through the front, she comes in through the side gate, and they explained to me, look, if you park in the wrong place, you can get breached. It's very, very bad. Be very careful. Make sure you do the right thing. And like these guys were so, whoa, if you don't park there, you're going to be really stuffed. On the second time that I went to visit my kids, the mother of my children parked in my zone while I was still in the car and waiting for about 5 more minutes so that I can walk in at the right time that they have requested. I see the mother of my children park her car, and I'm like, oh man, she's got an ADVO, restraining order against me, and she's looking at me and she's agitated, and I could tell she's trying to get me to react. So I just put my window up, and I'm thinking, what the hell is going on? She should know better. They've explained this to her. But obviously she was trying to manipulate the situation, trying to get me to do something wrong and get me charged. And this restraining order, as I've explained in other videos, can get me locked up for up to 2 years, which is a very, very serious thing. So a restraining order is not just a piece of paper. I explained what had occurred to one of the supervisors, and she's like, oh yeah, she just forgot, you know what I mean? We'll just have a chat with her and we'll make sure she parks in the right zone next time. And I'm thinking to myself, if I had parked there, you guys will call the police on me. You guys will blow up at me. There is no way in the world that they would have just said to me, "Oh, we're sure that you forgot. It's okay, but please next time just park in the right place." It was around this time when I had this supervisor approach me about a few things, specifically Facebook. Now this supervisor, she's a scary supervisor. Now when I say she's scary, I mean I don't get intimidated by her. She's not scary to me, but I remember when I was young, about 4, 5, possibly even 6, when my parents used to go visit their friends. I used to go with them. They used to take me with them. And there was this one particular female that was my mum's friend, and she was scary looking for a young child. And when we would be at home, there was this emotional manipulative technique that my mum would use against me to get her to control myself, which was, if you don't do the right thing, I'm going to get such and such, or the mother of such and such, and you better do the right thing. And I would be like, oh, I'd tremble in fear, and I'd make sure that I'd do the right thing. This supervisor that works in his place, I swear to God, she is like that for a young child. She's big, she's slightly cross-eyed, her hair's all over the place. I don't want to mock her because I'm not saying she's just born like that. But for my children, this is a person that is intimidating. In my opinion, I strongly believe that this person is intimidating. Now, the reason why I say this is because this is the same specific supervisor that when my children approach, or when my children rock up to this contact center, this is the supervisor that goes up to my daughter and says, "Do you want to see your daddy? Or do you want to see dad?" And there's my daughter who's 5 years old that is looking at this person and thinking, she looks like she's from the Addams family, and she's like, of course not. I mean, she doesn't want to see my dad. Look who's the one, she doesn't want to see her dad. Look who's even asking her. I mean, if she has to go through her to see her father, then obviously the answer is going to be no. I mean, apart from other things, I know there's coaching involved. I've even got the evidence to prove that. It's very, very easy for me to prove. But out of about several supervisors that can all have a go with trying to convince my daughter to see her father, this is the specific supervisor that they get to ask my daughter. Anyway, this is also the same supervisor that on about the 3rd visit had come up to me and said, "Do you have photos of your children on Facebook? Because you have to take them off." I'm like, "Excuse me? What do you mean?" "Yeah, you've got photos of your children on Facebook. You're not allowed to have photos of your children on Facebook." I'm like, "What are you talking about? Who are you to tell me I haven't got photos on Facebook?" I mean, I've only had Facebook for 3 months. Mind you, I hadn't seen my children at that time, neither the mother of my children, for about 9 months, maybe 10 months. I'm not sure exactly. But even my ex, which is the mother of my children, she never saw me having Facebook. When I say that, I mean, I never ever did have Facebook. It was the very first time I actually opened up a Facebook account. So I explained this to this supervisor, and I said to her, "Look, I've only had Facebook for 3 months, so first of all, where did you get information from?" "Oh, the mother told me that you've got Facebook and you've got photos of your children on Facebook." I said, "Yeah, so what if I do? They're very old photos. I haven't got new photos. What's the big deal?" And she's like, "Oh, okay. Are you sure you're not taking any photos of your children in here?" I'm like, I haven't taken a single photo of my kids in the contact center. I mean, why do I even have to defend that? So bloody what? Even if I did take photos of my children at the contact center, Big deal. But anyway, I hadn't. And I explained this to her. This proved to me that the mother of my children at this point was stalking me, because she knew about a Facebook account that I had, which never existed, before she had left me. On another occasion, about 2 months after I started to see my children at this contact centre, so about 8 weeks into it, possibly even 3 months, I purchased another car. I did this because I wanted to get a more efficient car, so I purchased a Honda RAV4. And I explained to my actual personal supervisor. If I haven't mentioned this in the past, I'd let you guys. I'm going to let you guys know that these supervisors, they walk around with a pen and a notepad, so they're always there looking at you every minute, observing how you are, how the children are around you. They write things down, and all eyes are on you. So I've explained this to my personal supervisor, and I've told her, look, I've bought a new car. I think it's good. Later on, if I get to take my children out on the weekends, I've got a four-wheel drive in the sense where, even my WRX STI is a four-wheel drive, but that's a sports car. It's a turbo performance car. I have here a car that's more so-called family orientated. And it was fortunate that I said this to my personal supervisor, because at the end of those 2 hours, we had this Adam's family supervisor charge at me, and she said to me, can you please tell your partner not to come and intimidate the mother of the children? And I looked at her and I said, excuse me? Yeah, your partner's outside and she's being intimidating to the mother of the children. I'm like, I don't have a partner. She said, yes you do, you've got a partner, she's out. I said, no I don't. I cut her short and I said, listen, please understand, I do not have a partner. I'm not interested in a partner. As a matter of fact, I'm celibate and I do not plan on having a partner. I'm more focused on seeing my children. My children are everything to me, and I'm not interested in having a relationship. When I said this, the result, as in when I say result, all these females around me were like, whoa, their jaws hit the floor. Wow, damn, this guy doesn't even need a female in his life. I don't know why, I had the feeling that they felt like inferior. It's not that wasn't my intent. I was just being straight out. I was just stating that I did not need a partner, and I mean that even till now. I don't need a female partner in my life. I'm completely capable. I can do things on my own, and I can do a lot of things on my own better than what I would do if I did have a partner. Anyways, what happened here, I think, is that the mother saw a new vehicle which looked like a so-called girly car, and had come up with a story, thought that it all work, told the supervisors about it, made up a concocted idea of this so-called invisible female, new female partner. Lucky I had told my personal supervisor about this, because my personal supervisor, explained to the other supervisors, specifically this Adams family supervisor, what had really occurred. Now, another point that I wanted to address is, about 10 weeks ago, this supervisor, this supervisor that intimidates children, that is intimidating to children, approaches me and says to me with smiles on her face, Dad, we just want to tell you that the mother, she's going away for a while. She's going to go for a holiday for about a week. So the next time you're not going to be able to come and see your kids because the mother's going to go for a holiday, and it's all la-di-da-di-da. And I'm like, inside me, I'm like, come on, man. What about my son? What about my daughter? I want to see my kids too. What about me? Don't I have any feelings? Don't they have any feelings? Come on. What's all... Okay, no problem. No problem. No problem. This is why I said to this supervisor, I said to her, you know what? This is actually probably a good opportunity for me to go on a break because I need a break myself. When I said this to the supervisor, she looked at me. Her smile turned into a frown and passive anger. And she said to me, but don't you work? Why do you want to go on a break for? And in my head, in my mind, there were so many things I could have said to this female. And, whoa. I mean, she's entitled to go on a break. She's allowed to go for a holiday. I'm not. I'm a drone. I must work. I haven't got time to even play. So what if you're not going to see your kids? Bad fucking luck. You know what? Man the fuck up. I'm like, no problem. No worries. Now, this week that I was supposed to see my kids, my son, I didn't get to see my son because apparently the mother's gone on a holiday. What happened from that week was I actually never got to see my children, never got to see my children for 8 weeks straight. The mother did not bring my children for 8 weeks straight. Therefore, she actually contravened, she breached court orders due to the fact that going to see my children at this contact center is a court-appointed thing. It is a minute of order. So it's an ordered thing. And no one really gave a shit that she contravened. No one gave a shit that she breached, even though I told my family law firm. Everybody just took their time. It was no big deal. And I think that she stayed away from the actual contact center for a reason, because we were supposed to see the psychiatrist to put a family report together at around it was around 2 weeks ago. I think that she was trying to coach my son into hating me. She can't do that because there's a special bond that I have with my son, because I still have some contact with my son, and my son knows who I am. And she didn't end up going to the psychiatrist at all. I think she got too afraid to go there, because I think she knows that, in her mind, she knows he's going to read straight through her. And another thing I just wanted to mention is, when I do go see my son at this contact center, and I'm still waiting, hopefully my daughter sees through the light, and she'll see the truth for what it is. There's a few things. I mean, my son's, he's reaching 4 years old, and lately I've been getting him some toys and stuff. One of the last times that I went to see my son, I brought him a solar powered car, and I also bought this fan where you'd pump a balloon up, you'd blow a balloon up, connect it to the bottom of this pipe, and it's got a fan at the top. You let go of the balloon and it just flies up, and because the wings, the propeller starts spinning at the top, and it elevates. So I've been teaching my son about solar power and wind power, and my son loved this Ferrari, this little Ferrari that I bought from J-Car for $15. He loved it, and it was a sunny day that day, because what my son loved about it a lot was he'd put his hand over the panel and it would stop. He'd move his hand and it would go. And I thought that my son would actually have preference for this car because it was a car with solar power. But believe it or not, he actually had preference for the wind-powered propeller. And it was a good thing because, we're playing, he's having a ball, I'm having a ball, and this intimidating supervisor, this child intimidating supervisor cracked a whinge about how she believed that I shouldn't be teaching my son anything because this is his time for play. And I'm like, how pathetic can this get? Like, my son is having a ball. Who are you to tell me what to do in the 2 hours that I get with my son every 2 weeks? He's having a ball. You can see he's all full of smiles. He's never been so happy. When I'm waiting in the waiting room, waiting for him to come out, when they open the door, he just runs at me. He jumps. He lands on my lap, hugs me as if he hasn't seen me for 10 years. Doesn't even want to let go of me, and tells me how much he loves me. My son has a ball, and we have to play or do things the way that they want, and it is pathetic. Anyways, there are some other things that I want to mention. I'll mention them in the future in another one of these type of videos. If there is anything I can, if there are questions, if you guys want to ask me any questions about what I'm going through, please ask. And I'll do my best to answer them for you. If there's any type of advice that I can help you with, please ask me. If you don't want to ask them in the actual front page of the YouTube videos, just PM me and I'll get back to you. Thanks for listening. Talk to you guys soon.